Okay, let's be real for a second. Is your workspace kind of working against you? You know, that sea of clutter, misplaced tools, and just this constant low level chaos. Well, we're about to explore a powerful system designed to transform that chaos into crystal clear efficiency. So let's get right into it.
Before we jump into the solution, let's really frame the problem. Think about it for a minute. What are the real costs of disorganization? It's so much more than just frustration. It's wasted time, it's stress, and in some cases, believe me, it's much, much worse.
And this is not just some abstract idea. I mean, look at real-world examples. In super busy manufacturing sectors, like the automotive hubs in Gurugram, India, a cluttered shop floor isn't just an eyesore. It can directly lead to serious safety hazards, huge production delays, and a major hit to the bottom line. It's a problem that absolutely demands a systematic solution.
And that solution, well, that's exactly what we're here to talk about. It's an incredibly powerful methodology known as 5S. And I'm telling you, this is not just about tidying up. It's a complete system for creating and maintaining a workplace that's organized, efficient, and safe. So what is 5S, really? At its core, it's a systematic approach to workplace organization that came from the legendary Toyota production system. Yeah, that's the very same system that completely revolutionized modern manufacturing. So this isn't some trendy idea, you know? This is a battle-tested, proven framework for excellence.
And the benefits? They are huge. Seriously, we're talking about massively improved safety with way fewer hazards. Higher productivity because you're not wasting precious time just searching for things. You get better quality, less waste, and even a boost in employee morale. I mean, people just feel more respected and less stressed in a clean, orderly place. On top of all that, it helps companies stay compliant with safety rules. It really impacts almost every single part of the operation.
Okay, so how does it actually work? Well, the whole system is built on 5 core pillars. Each one is named after a Japanese word that starts with S. Let's break them down one by one to see how they all fit together so perfectly. So the first pillar is seri, which means sort. The idea here is simple, but you gotta be a little ruthless. If you don't need it for your current work, it has to go. This is all about decluttering your immediate workspace of everything that is not absolutely essential.
Now, the way you do this is super important. You don't just start tossing things out. First, you identify what's not needed. Then, for any items you're unsure about, you use what's called a red tag system. You tag it, move it to a special holding area, and then you make a clear decision later. Do we keep it, move it somewhere else, or get rid of it?
All right, once you've cleared out all the junk, you move on to the second pillar, seitan, or set in order. The goal here is simple but so powerful, a place for everything and everything in its place. You arrange all the necessary stuff logically so you can grab it in seconds, not minutes.
And this is where it gets really visual and, honestly, kind of cool. Think about things like shadow boards, where the outline of a tool shows you exactly where it belongs, or using color coding and super clear labels so anyone can find anything without having to ask. You can even use markings on the floor to lay out safe walkways. It's all about making the right way the easiest way. Pillar number 3 is say so, which means shine. But listen, this is so much more than just cleaning to make things look nice. The act of cleaning is also an act of inspection. Think about it. When you're wiping down a machine, you're going to be the first person to spot a small oil leak, a loose bolt, or a wire that's starting to fray. It's really proactive maintenance in disguise. So you've sorted, you've set everything in order, and you've shined the place up. Awesome. But how do you stop it from sliding right back into chaos in a couple of weeks? That brings us to pillar 4, seiketsu, or standardize. This is where you create the rules, the procedures, and the visual guides to make sure those first 3 S's become the new normal. And that leads us to the final, and let's be honest, probably the most challenging pillar of all, shitsuke, or sustain. This is all about discipline. It's about building a culture where everyone follows the standards without even having to be told. It's about turning 5S into a habit, making it part of the company's DNA, and always looking for ways to get even better. This table right here is a fantastic summary. Just look at the clear progression, right? You get rid of the clutter, then you organize what's left, you keep it that way through cleaning, you lock in that progress with standards, and finally, you build the culture to make it last forever. Each step just builds perfectly on the one before it. Now, theory is great and all, but what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's take a look at a case study from that same industrial setting we were talking about earlier. Okay, so in this automotive parts factory in Gurugram, the before picture was, well,
It was chaotic. Tools were everywhere, waste was piling up, minor injuries were happening all the time, and there were constant delays from people just trying to find stuff. But after they brought in 5S, the transformation was just dramatic. Tools went onto shadow boards, floors were clear, injuries dropped, and the whole production flow just got so much smoother. And here is the number that really tells the story. They measured a 30 to 40% reduction in the time workers spent just searching for tools and parts. I mean, think about that. They got back nearly half the time that was just being completely wasted. That is a massive, massive gain in productivity. So you're convinced you want to bring this kind of clarity to your own workspace. How do you actually do it? And maybe more importantly, how do you make it stick? Let's walk through the implementation process.
You know, the process is just as logical as the system itself. You always start with preparation. You've got to get everyone on board. Then, and this is key, you don't try to boil the ocean. You start with just one pilot area. Then you apply the pillars in order. After that, you audit and review your progress with real data. And finally, you work to sustain it by making it part of your everyday routine. But it's really important to be realistic here. The source material is very clear that the biggest hurdle isn't learning the steps, it's the human element. It's overcoming that natural resistance we all have to changing our old habits. And that is exactly what that final S, sustain, is all about tackling. So how do you get past that resistance? Well, the keys are to start small, to get some quick, visible wins. You have to involve the people actually doing the work. That creates a sense of ownership. You need to connect 5S to goals everyone cares about, like safety. Use visual aids, and this one is critical. Conduct regular checks and celebrate your progress along the way. These aren't just tips, they're the engine that drives that sustain pillar, turning a one-time project into a permanent culture. Which brings us to the end. The 5S system really does offer a clear path from clutter to clarity, from chaos to control. So I'll leave you with this one question to get you started on your own journey. Right now, what is the very first unnecessary item you could sort from your workspace?